All right, so today we are starting a new concept. We will have a test on this, not this Friday, but next Wednesday. So our test is going to be a Wednesday, which is kind of different. What we're doing today is we're taking decimals and we're making them fractions. And I have some kind of examples and guidelines for up here. When you're changing a decimal to a fraction, as long as you remember its place value, that's going to tell you the number to put on the bottom. So for example, 0.9 is in the tenths place, so I put 9 over 10. 0.63 is in the hundredths, so I'd put 63 over 100. All right, we also have some special cases like that repeating bar. We've seen that before in answers. The way I would make that a decimal, instead of putting 10 or 100 or 1,000, I would put like 99. So if there are 2 numbers after the decimal, I put 2 nines. If there are 3 numbers after the decimal, I put 3 nines. 4 numbers, 4 nines. And we're always going to want to make sure that we simplify our fraction. So in our directions here, it says write the following decimals as a simplified fraction. Yes, you do have to simplify all the way. If you do not simplify it all the way, I will mark it wrong. All right, we're going to do the first column, the first 10 together, and then you'll work on the rest. What you don't finish in class is homework. So for number 1, it's 0.8. 8 is after the decimal, so that's going to go on top of the fraction. It's 1 number after the decimal, so that's going to be a 10. The way I remember that is that tells me how many zeros to put. 1 number after the decimal gets 1 0. All right, I know 2 will go into 8 and to 10, so I'm dividing them by 2, and that gives me 4 over 5. For our notes, I do want you to write in what you're dividing by on your homework. You do not have to write that in. All right, now number 2 has a number in front of the decimal, which means I'm going to have a number in front of my fraction. So 8 is in front of the decimal. 8 is going to go in front of the fraction, just like so. 6 is behind the decimal. Since there's only 1 number behind the decimal, that's going to be 10 with 1 0. Okay, 6 and 10 will simplify, so I'm going to divide by 2. You're going to use 2's and 5's a lot when you're simplifying. 8 was in front. Make sure you keep your 8. I would write that first so you don't forget it. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. All right, moving down to the next one. So this one has a bar. So this is going to be where I use these 9s instead of 10s and 100s. 10 is in front of the decimal, so 10 is still going to go in front of the fraction like so. And there's my fraction bar. 2 is behind the decimal with the bar, so I'm going to put 2. And then underneath, I'm going to put a 9 this time. All right, 10 and 2 ninths. That 2 ninths will not actually get any smaller, so that's my answer. All right, the next one. It looks like I've hole punched through the 4. We're just going to say that's 8.605. So I'm going to put 8 in front of the fraction because it's in front of the decimal. And then I have 605. There were 3 numbers behind the decimal, so I'm going to put 3 zeros, which makes the number 1,000. Right. Since that ends in a 5, I know, and that ends in a 0, I'm going to divide these by 5. Like I said, you're going to use 2's and 5's a lot on this sheet. Okay, 8's in front, don't forget it. I'm going to use my calculator to help me out with this. Guys, I'm okay with us using calculators as long as you write out the work that you're doing. So I'm going to do 605 divided by, that is not what I typed in, 605 divided by 5 gives me 121. And then I can type in 1,000 divided by 5, and that's going to give me 200. All right, again, a lot of us can probably do the division in our head. You don't have to use the calculator, but you can as long as you write down your math. All right, number 5. So I have 5 in front of the decimal. So I'm putting 5 in front of the fraction. 18 with a bar is on top. So I'm going to put 18 with a bar is behind the decimal. So I'm going to put 18 on top. There are 2 numbers after the decimal, so I'm putting 2 nines. Okay. 55 and 18 ninths. Guys, when you use 9, remember 3 goes into 9. So always check and see if 3 will go into that top number. It will in this case. In fact, 9 will go into 99, and 9 will go into 18. So I'm going to go ahead and jump up and divide by 9. The other option would be to try 3. You just have to do it more than once. 18 divided by 9 is 2, and 99 divided by 9 is 11. All right, number 6, I have 1 in front of the decimal, 1 in front of the fraction. 85 on top. There are 2 numbers after the decimal, so 2 zeros, so that gives me 100 on the bottom. It ends in 5, so I'm going to divide by 5. So If I keep my 1, don't forget your 1, 85 divided by 5 is going to give me 17. And 100 divided by 5 is 20. All right, that's not going to simplify anymore, so there's my answer. All right, number 7, I have 0.284. 0 in front of the decimal is kind of like not having a number, so I'm just going to put my top number, which is 284, behind the decimal on top. 3 numbers behind the decimal gives me 3 zeros. I'm going to divide this by 2, since I know that they're even numbers. All right, which is going to give me 142 over 500. Since these are still even numbers, I'm going to divide by 2 again, which is going to give me 71 over 250. Now at that point, I'm done simplifying and I can circle my answer. All right, number 8, 9's in front of the decimal, 9's in front of the fraction. 31 is behind the decimal, since there are 2 numbers. I'm going to put 2 zeros, which is 100. 2 won't work, 5 won't work. Nothing's going to go into both of those, so that is my answer. It will not simplify. All right, number 9, I have 54 over 100, 2 zeros, since there are 2 numbers. I'm going to divide that by 2. That's going to give me 27 over 50, which will not simplify anymore. All right, then my last one, 1's in front, so 1's in front of the fraction, 2 behind, 2 goes on top. 1 number after the decimal means 1 0, so that's the number 10. I'm going to divide these by 2 to make it smaller, and I get 1 and 1/5. All right, guys, I know that was a little quick. This video will be posted online if you need some help and some guidance. We will be going over these together and talking about them tomorrow in class when I am back. If you have any questions, Ms. Boardman is awesome and will be happy to help you. Please remember, guys, do not walk back there with a blank piece of paper. You should have tried something on your paper before seeking help.